It's Friday, it's 4 o'clock, and I have the world's worst tash. Can you see this now? Can we zoom in to you? Look at this. Now, the weirdest thing is, right, so this is really bad, look. It's gone grey as well. But my tash is better. That's quite good, isn't it? Look. It's better, get back, it's better than anyone else in the office. And this was bloody Freddie's idea. And he's got something that just looks like a caterpillar that's died. An orange caterpillar that's like dying. Anyway, how are you? Welcome, podcasters. The reason for the tash is obviously Movember. So have a look at it when you see it. And I've got some Italian friends watching today. So, ciao for Lena e Federico. E Federico, oggi è tuo compleanno e buon compleanno. Tu sei un molto, molto vecchio stronzo. And that is something that should not be said in public. Anyway, ciao to them. Letter of the week. Oh, look at that. Well done, Rob. It's on my finger. You. And I mean you. Anyway, so it's all kicking off. We have had a very, very busy week at ELN Towers, and we've been doing a lot of stuff. Also, lots of stuff that's been going on post the expo. So if you came to that, many thanks. It was an absolutely brilliant event last week, and we really enjoyed putting it on for you. And we've got so much content. There's tons of it. Isn't there, Johnny? You're busy writing it.
So much.
Yeah, exactly. No, there is lots of content coming out over the next few weeks. We're going to stagger it out rather than give you loads of it in one go, because Rob gets very annoyed if I do, don't you? Yeah, okay. So let's move on with our story of the week, and it is this. Demand side response. Now, you may know what that means. If you don't, it's very simple. Demand side response means that when there is a need in the energy system, whether it's the grid needs more power, whatever, then it says, can we have some please from people who are using it? Generally big businesses, big factories. And so what you have is the demand side looks for a response, and that is you giving power to them and you get money for it. Anyway, all of that. It's pretty simple. So demand side response, or DSR, is very, very popular, and we've got a whole section on it on our website from our friends at npower. You can see lots of stuff that's going on around DSR, and it's going to become a very big part of where our energy future is, because without doubt, as we have more and more power closures on the kind of fossil fuel side, you're going to get a position where you're going to have a problem with demand. Whether you have more sort of input by, importing gas and that sort of stuff. But whatever happens, businesses will be using DSR more and more in the grid, and the energy system is built around it. So what's happened this week is a proposition has come out for a code of conduct for DSR. It'll be called Flex Assure. So the ADE, the Association for Decentralized Energy, Ofgem, 17 different aggregators, they're all getting together looking at this code. And the reason this code will be important of how you do the response, what's involved, who qualifies, how you make sure that you're not sort of causing problems to the system. There's many things that a code of conduct would be needed for. That's because they predict by 2035, okay, so that's not that far off. You're looking at perhaps 16% of our energy needs could be coming from other businesses. So you think about that. Nearly 1/5 of our energy within 15 years could be coming from your fellow businesses. So if you don't know that you're going to get the power at the right time, if there aren't certain rules that allow the guarantee that when the grid needs it, you're going to provide it, we could be in a bit of a state. And the code will look at sort of 5 specific areas, including marketing, sales, kind of how it provides power. I think this is a very, very important thing, because without doubt, we are heading towards a much more fractionated energy future. It'll be much more diverse, and there will be plenty of this demand side response that will be needed to power it. So you'll need to make sure that you know it's coming. You know, suppliers have to give you a supply according to Ofgem rules, otherwise they can't get a supply license. So if you suddenly start thinking that actually your power is going to come from your neighbouring factory or your big supermarket, or even perhaps businesses altogether, like we are in a small kind of block of businesses here, maybe we all got together and share power, then you need to make sure that when you get it, it's the right power, it's all sorted, and you're getting the supply you need when you need it. So there need to be rules, and I think this is a step in the right direction. Our next story is one that we've been covering so much. I mean, God, it might as well be called energy fracking news. So, fracking. Protests on fracking. We've all seen them. We've covered them for years. You can see here, we go, loads of them that have gone on for the last probably 5 years. And of course, the last couple of weeks, we've had a lot of stuff with Cuadrilla. We've had the whole kind of Cuadrilla having the license, having the fracking, having some minor tremors, stopping it, getting it, stopping it. And then last week, we had the story of us producing the first sort of fracked gas in this country. Now, fracking is a contentious issue, or is it? Because the latest Energy Department, Business Energy Industrial Strategy, BES, Public Attitude Tracker, I think that sounds great actually. So this tracker, and they call it the 26th wave. I know there's a film called The Fifth Wave, and the 26th wave is weird. Anyway, so this is the 26th wave of gauging response. You quite like this film, aren't you? You just keep playing it on a loop. You're such an idiot. Anyway, so they've basically done this new survey which says, oh, hang on a second, 4,000 households were surveyed, and in September last year, 36% were concerned about fracking. That's dropped to 31%. 15% now support it. And the best stat, this is the one, half of them have no view at all. And that's pretty much it. So that kind of says where we are. And it's interesting that this whole thing about, God, everyone hates fracking. Well, do they really? And it was a question that came up from a sort of a journalist asked this question at our expo last week. And there was a good, I think, a very robust and honest response from Claire Perry, our energy minister. So just watch this clip.
Thank you. It's Emily Golston from The Times. Thanks for coming to me for a question, Claire. Just to follow up on Jeremy's question about fracking, Francis at Cuadrilla is saying very specifically this morning that they will not even be able to complete the tests that they want to do unless you raise the limit for the earthquake kind of red light boundary, and that almost certainly the industry won't be viable unless you increase the limit in the longer term. Okay. So will you look at reviewing that within the next few weeks so they can complete their tests?
Look, we will review this. As I think Sir Ed Davey in his written ministerial statement originally said, we've set the guidelines like this. We clearly need to look at this when we get into an operational state. But it would be a very foolish politician who would do things that would be considered to be relaxing regulatory standards when we are trying to reassure people about safety. So this is clearly an important conversation to have. But I would love to encourage you and your colleagues, when you're reporting this stuff, to report the facts. I find headlines like shale rips through safety standards. That wasn't one of yours, that was a colleague elsewhere. It's just a bit crazy, and it's kind of scaring. You know, why would we be doing this? I mean, I understand, and I'm actually very impressed with some of the NGO campaigning. I think it's probably quite a good way of fundraising to have a campaign like this that you can keep going at. But honestly speaking, we have an opportunity here that we need to soberly test the science. You will see the incredibly eminent scientists who were behind the original report. And my final point on this is I'm frequently asked to go out and defend the science of climate change. When I say, but the scientists have said to us that this industry is sustainable and safe and important, somehow that's just a load of rubbish and I'm in hock to the fossil fuel industries. So I just don't think you can have it both ways. If we trust the facts, we trust the facts, and we don't make energy policy set on ideology.
So there you go. And I think Claire Perry was right, because, you know, she got a lot of stick for a comment she made in Parliament saying the majority of people, you know, are against fracking. That is not true. Well, she's right. It is not true. And don't get me wrong, right? I do think there are lots of questions to be asked about fracking. And we will continue to do stories that say that it's wrong. Absolutely. But we should also do stories that say the benefits of it. We should give a balanced view. And every time we do a story about fracking and we show something like this. So this is a BES study, right? So we're reporting a government study. God, did we get hammered by loads of, oh my God, why are you publicising this? You bunch of evil sods. Calm down, people, all right? If you want power, one of the ways to get it is from fracked gas, because that will give us energy independence. Are there safety issues around it? Yes, there are. Are they being looked at? Yes, there are. And you heard there from the minister, she's not going to change the regulations. You know, they've set them because of what's happened in the past. So I think we should look at this fracking thing with a bit more calmness. And the trouble is, it's one of those things that becomes so emotive that people can't see the reality of the science. They're just so obsessed with emotion. And I think if you took that out of it, that would be an interesting thing. And at the end of the day, as we say, 50% of people don't give a damn either way. So there we go. And then finally, something for the nerds, particularly for Robert in the corner. They go, oh God, look, you made it look like the bloody Matrix. I can see the world. I can see Keanu Reeves. Neo is coming. Bitcoin. Oh yeah. Cryptocurrency. So Bitcoin, if you don't know what it is, oh God, I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of a made-up thing, made up by a Japanese bloke that's worth loads of money, but no, it isn't. And he's going to make you money. There's not. But anyway, everyone's mining this stuff. So what they do is they generate. Rob likes that explanation.
They don't know Japanese either.
Yeah, well, he's supposed to be Japanese, isn't he? Yeah, right, shut up. It's not your bit now. Anyway, so they basically, to make Bitcoins, and our nerd factor will correct me, I'm sure, but you basically have to generate them using your computer. You have to make some program. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So the program has to be made. And what is the computer doing? Started from one tier. What does it use?
It's mining.
No, what's it used?
Oh, electricity.
Hurrah! It uses electricity. Tia's doing really well this week. She's been really interesting stuff about how she takes information in. Anyway, so cryptocurrencies need to be mined. That means the computers have to be on and they have to produce these things. And these things use energy. In fact, they use so much energy. Get this. The energy cost of mining a bit of Bitcoin, $1, is 17 megajoules. That means nothing to you and me either, yeah? But to mine gold, so going in and digging gold out somewhere, takes 5 megajoules of energy. So you're looking at something that's nearly 3 times more energy intensive than digging gold. And they've said that the carbon footprint, I don't know where you got this from, Johnny, but it's a great bit. Or he made it up. Cryptocurrencies mined in China. The carbon footprint is bigger than the footprint of Canada. Now, I know Canada's got a lot of moose and not much else, but still, that is pretty hefty. So it does show you that even all this kind of, oh, let's trade with cryptocurrencies, it's so clean, you don't have print, you don't have to print money and all that stuff with, you know, huge print works. These things use energy. Whatever we say, whatever we're doing, we're using energy. And I think we have to look at this because, frankly, I think Bitcoin's a bit of a kind of bit bullshit. But hey, people are into it, they can do their stuff, but perhaps they should look at how much energy, because one of the biggest things, and we've covered it so many times, is the energy footprint of IT. It's enormous, which is why I moan to this lot about turning their computers off at night, don't I? There we go. Enough said. Right, he tried to interrupt a bit earlier. It's the banter box. Okay, that's good.
Hello.
How's your little mole rat moustache?
It's coming on. It's looking a
terrible.
bit creepy.
It is creepy, actually. Go and zoom in on his, because his is really bad. If you thought mine was bad, look at that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God. You got about 3. Don't do that. That's just disgusting. I apologise to all viewers and all children. That's vile. Zoom out, for God's sakes.
God.
It's not good at yours.
It's getting there. I kind of
You cocked up, didn't you?
out and shaved on the 3rd.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Don't worry. Give it a couple of weeks. It'll be...
Before we talk about your bit,
yeah.
The Bitcoin thing.
Yeah, I lost a lot of money.
Obviously.
Yeah.
It's stupid, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it turns out...
No, not the Bitcoin bit. The energy bit of it. It's stupid. You think about it.
Well, yeah, there's no such thing as a free dinner.
No, exactly.
And it is something that people definitely don't take into consideration. But actually,
you can do what you like with the Bitcoin. I'm not having my views on it, but I just think the amount of energy that it takes to pull this stuff out is huge.
Yeah, but like you said, all IT uses a huge amount, like all these server rooms and data rooms.
Yeah.
Even just storing like a big company's data uses an incredible amount of money. But yeah, it is a lot for Bitcoin.
We're not hearing him because the microphone's so bloody high. Do you know, every week... Yeah, why is the microphone not pointed to him? Move it down a bit. Hello.
Just right.
Sorry, viewers. Can you hear him now?
Can you hear me? Can everyone hear me?
Is that coming through on his gob?
Technical difficulties.
Hurrah.
Just can't get the staff these days.
You can't
can
get
you?
the staff, no, absolutely.
But no, the actual thing I found most interesting in that story wasn't
Yes.
even anything to do with Bitcoin.
Which was?
It said that aluminium is actually about 30 times, I think, that
Yes.
figure's wrong, but it's in the ballpark area.
Yeah.
It's about 30 times as energy intensive to mine as gold or Bitcoin.
There we go. Okay, but we were talking about Bitcoin.
Yeah, but we make cans out of aluminium
do.
willy-nilly and chuck them away. That's a lot
Let's
of power.
not do that.
Yeah.
And talking of pollution, that was a good link there.
It was, as always. We always
We're
have
going to
good
talk
links.
about porky kids. You can't call them fat these days, so I thought porky would be quite good.
Porky's probably worse, I'd say.
Is it really? Really? Okay. Children who are slightly higher on BMI.
Yes, so the University of Southern California.
Yes.
Uh,
Wow, that picture is a cracker.
it measured
Let's
up.
just look now. Look.
Look at
No,
bursting
don't
at the
put us
seams.
there.
Look how many,
That's just wrong.
Look at all the pork pies in there. Or is it nitrogen dioxide?
Oi, oi. So tell me more.
Right, so the University of Southern California
UCLA.
gathered up 2,000 fatties.
Yes. That's just wrong.
No, it gathered up 2,000 children.
Who are rather,
some of
rather
whom,
large.
some of whom were rather large, and some
Yes.
of whom were rather small, and all the children in between as well. And they conducted tests on them
Once
to see where
upon a
they'd been born, to
Yes.
see what their diets
Yes.
were, and to see whether they lived next to pollution-covered roads.
And
So basically, they found out that kids that either are living in a house that's right next to a busy main road, so there's loads of pollution, or they go to school there, or
Yep.
they're there for whatever reason a lot in the first year of their life. Basically, if you're there for the first year in heavy pollution,
Yes.
by the time you're 10, on average, kids are a kilogram heavier, which is quite a lot.
okay,
Yes.
keep going.
And so the scientists said they don't actually know why this is the case. So it could, in my opinion, it could come down to a lot of factors, like the people that live near.
No, this has nothing to do with the pollution, is
Well,
it?
so the scientists are saying it can cause inflammation of the brain, which can give you
Okay.
anxiety overeating, and also can change.
Whoa, whoa.
And also it can change how your body metabolizes fat. Inflammation. of the
Okay,
brain.
well, that bit I don't know about, but I would think there's a pretty simple correlation. Generally, people who live next
Lower
to pollution
incomes.
have lower incomes.
Yeah.
And lower income people, unfortunately now, so many, and I can see why it happens, people buy the cheapest food. And the cheapest food, sadly, is always fast food.
Chicken nuggets.
Although, sweet potatoes ain't that expensive.
Yeah,
They're good.
Freddie's.
Freddie lives on £3
eating
a
very
day, he
healthy.
told me. So
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah, I agree with you. To be honest,
But
I think there probably is a
maybe
connection.
maybe there is something about the brain bit, though, because I don't know, because God
Yeah.
knows what's in all the crap that we're breathing in every day anyway.
I think the anxiety overeating thing might not be such a factor, but yeah, the changes in fat metabolism. They say nitrogen dioxide can affect your brain in that way.
So it's not me, it's the air I breathe.
Yeah, there's always an excuse for everything nowadays.
Excellent. Fat air. Excellent. Well done,
Yeah.
Rob. Moving on.
Yes.
And we know that the air
Alex
is
Gilbert.
bad. No, I'm trying to do a link. That's
Nah.
what we do in this thing.
Alex Gilbert, TFL. We know that the air's bad above ground, but what about below ground?
I was just 2040 will have a completely green transport network. He's last week, by the way, I do apologise, because Robert had one of his moments. He had that leprechaun.
He's a nervous wreck these days.
He is, isn't
He's
he?
clicking at things.
He's clicking at things.
Pressing buttons.
He's pooing 6 times a day, for God's sakes.
It's awful.
Honest to God, the amount of rainforest that he wipes every day up his bottom is shocking.
Yeah.
And I think that's affecting
If we had a
us.
waste to energy facility
Jesus,
in
man,
the
we'd
office,
be loaded.
we would be.
We could mine bitcoins all
we would
day
be
long,
a-
thanks to Rob. Rob, can we just pop in away in the loo?
We would be
and
supporting
we'd be
the
mining
grid.
the other end. We could, yeah, DSR.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, some demand there. So, the tube.
Mm-hmm.
Now, going back to it. The tube obviously does take us all
Around.
around.
Yeah.
And
The Northern Line. Thank you, guys.
you know that it's very important about how we get around and how we decarbonise it.
Yep, it is.
And Alex, who I interviewed last week at Expo, said this. I think by 2040 we'll have a completely green transport network for London.
So we have to be zero carbon TfL rail by 2030.
Wow.
We have a massive target to hit by 2030.
And is
In terms
TfL
of all
rail,
transport,
is that the tube, or rail means overground?
Oh no, all of it. Sorry,
All
yeah,
of it.
that's all of that.
Wow.
Yeah. So to get all of the transport will be challenging, but the thing with a lot of it is once you tick one, I think
Yeah.
a huge amount of that will follow. And with EVs, obviously electric, I mean, I just used it in their kind of rocket science is easier than this. I mean, electrifying London, the amount of variables.
Crazy.
As soon as you start talking, someone will go, but what about Uber and rideshare and whatever?
Yeah.
But what about, everyone should just do car sharing.
Yeah, so it's very important that we cut those emissions, I think. Not just from the underground, as he was saying, but, from TfL's whole...
Yeah, but
range of everything.
2030 is, that's not 12 years from now to try and get... That's a bold and brave statement.
Yeah, but we were talking the other day, Bertie's been on the electric buses already that they're rolling out.
Yeah.
So the Tia's on the DLR all the time, that's electric, is it not? Or at least
No, I
much
think there are
cleaner.
some diesel bits, but
So it's heading in that direction.
Yeah.
And I think... I don't know, for some reason I think TfL, it's one of those organisations that could do that.
Oh, it would be brilliant. I mean, if we could literally, around the corner from us, we've got a charging point, and quite regularly I see that black electric taxi.
Yeah.
So he's there, which is great, and I think that sort of stuff is brilliant. And if we do have electric self-driving cars, then that's all part of the kind of, he's talking about taxis and Ubers, he was talking about there.
Yeah.
But what did you think about the whole kind of, decarbonisation challenge facing transport? Because that's one of the biggest ones, isn't it?
Yeah, I think, and it's also one of the most...
As a regular user of transport.
Yeah.
It doesn't work all the time.
Well, I think transport's quite neglected as well, to be honest, because obviously everyone talks about, solar panels on your house
Decarbonising
and
power,
using renewable energy. That's like one of the catchwords, and we also have the whole anti-plastic thing going on at the moment. But most of these people that, even all these eco-warriors, most of them are still driving around in petrol and diesel cars. So I think transport is one area that people kind of forget uses so much energy and causes pollution, even though it's probably the most obvious one. I don't know. I think that's an optimistic goal, but hopefully they'll achieve it.
Let us hope so.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yep. So okay. Well, moving smoothly on. Some way that emissions could be reduced in Russia is because they've come up with this really great idea that sounds completely foolproof to me. They're building a floating nuclear power station.
I love this. Make me small. Make us small.
It's actually built already.
That looks amazing.
You wouldn't believe that is built in 2018, would you?
That looks like it was built in 1942.
Yeah.
That's a beast, though. So what is it then?
The Titanic is infinitely more aerodynamic than that.
How can you have an aerodynamic boat, you fool?
With a point at the front? That's like 2 bricks.
Streamlined is the word you're looking for.
No, but you still have the
All right,
above.
anyway, get on with it.
I'm going to die on that hill.
Yeah. What is this boat? Tell me about it.
So this is the catchily named Academic Lomonosov.
Nice.
Yeah,
Well
that was
said.
quite good actually. It's a floating nuclear power station. It's got 2 35 megawatt nuclear reactors aboard. It looks like it's already kind of rusting, but and it weighs 20,000 tons. It's being towed to the most northernmost city in Russia, which is the city of
Minsk.
no,
Murmansk?
no,
Go on.
Pevek.
Pevek.
Yeah,
Excellent.
and so they're towing it there, where they say for the near future it's going to be anchored, because I think it would be quite hard to actually build a nuclear power station in these outermost reaches.
I think it's brilliant.
So they're building one in the
It just looks great, though, doesn't it?
civilization and towing it there.
All it needs is some big guns at the front. No, it doesn't. But I'm just saying, it looks amazing. If you get a chance, if you're a podcaster, have a look at it. It's
I wouldn't
just...
go anywhere near that.
But that is quality. So how much power will it produce? Do we know?
Well, it's got 2 35 megawatt reactors.
Wow.
Yeah, so quite a lot.
That is mad.
Yeah.
Now, do you know...
Need a tsunami now.
No.
We've got a budget horror film in the
go
making.
on. Jesus Christ. Anyway, so there was that series with, I Love Physics, Professor Brian Cox.
Oh, I stood next to him in an immigration queue in
Did
the
you?
airport in Cancun.
Did he say, all right, I love physics, can you get me through?
No, but he was... I don't really watch his TV, but he seemed like a very down-to-earth man.
And he was in
case
a
anyone's
terrible
likes him
90s
out there.
band called D-Ream. But anyway, what I was on the telly last night on BBC 4, an intellectual like me watches that sometimes.
Yeah.
And they had a bit which I think we'd go and love to film, which is, it's called, I think it's the National Fusion Gallery or something like that. Anyway, it's an installation in America where they're trying to do nuclear fusion.
Yeah.
And this thing about a kind of, finding different ways of doing nuclear power without the big kind of huge kind of build somewhere.
Yeah.
It's becoming more and more, it's running in tandem.
Fusionists as well.
It's
Even
amazing.
in the UK, there's the
Prince William went,
the
didn't he?
Cullen Science Centre in
Exactly.
Oxford, I think.
But this thing is a beast. Can you show me again, Rob? Because it's just so cool. Look at it. That's mad.
Yep, so one of those generators aboard is actually already generating nuclear power, so that is operational.
And they'll tow it there and then they'll just plug it into the grid sort of thing?
Yeah, and they say it's going to permanently be there, and they didn't say this, but my guessing is why they've made a floating nuclear power station is because they can't build it up there, even though there's power demand.
Oh, yeah,
they
of course.
can't get all the kit up.
Yeah, of
so
course.
they build it there and bring it. But theoretically, if in 10 years' time this is still operational,
Yeah.
and the power is needed somewhere else, they should be able to tow it elsewhere, yeah.
I'm amazed.
Yeah, the future's here, Russia.
Right, now don't do that one yet, because we do. Or is that in your running order? Is Scottish Power next in your running order? Oh, right, you might as well do it now then.
Yeah, we can't deviate from the script.
No, come on then.
Okay, so...
Moving on to a different form of power.
Yep. Oh, God, we're doing
Show this.
renewables, nuclear, coal.
Look at this. Watch this, guys. Whoa! So, for podcasters, we're seeing some towers being blown up. Amazing.
Empty towers.
Yeah, so what are they? Explain.
Those are old towers from a coal power station. And the coal power station is called Long Annet.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's a Scottish Power.
Play again. So good.
It's a facility owned by Scottish Power.
Yeah.
It closed down 2 years ago because
That's
they're
right.
shifting to renewables. So
Yep.
they're kind of phasing out from coal as
But
it's
it's
everyone
incredible.
at the moment.
Shows you the build of these things. They're huge.
Yeah, it's
That's
massive.
kind of the end of the coal industry. You just watch this all going down. It's amazing. This last shot is just brilliant. Look at this. Look at that. Wait, look when it goes. Bam, bam, bam. Whoa.
A lot easier to decommission than things like, nuclear
Of
plants.
course,
when
yeah,
they're
yeah.
trying to close out those.
And
down.
so this is all part of Scottish Power because, I mean, they're moving, as we heard a few weeks ago.
Well, everyone's going green.
But they are. You did the story.
Well, we do lots of stories about Scottish Power.
100%.
100% renewable. Scottish.
Yes.
100% power.
God help.
Well, that's an era ago, that story.
God.
Do you know how
man.
many stories I've
Yeah, but
written
it doesn't
since then?
matter. You're supposed to
Thousands.
remember this stuff.
They know that already.
I
They're
know.
clued up. You're dumbing down for the audience.
No, okay,
so.
all right, fine.
Okay, so they're shifted to 100% green power.
Yes.
So obviously they know that they're not going to fire this up again because it's
Yeah.
been closed for a few years. So
Do
they
they- do
thought,
we know
let's
where they're gonna build
blast it.
No.
No, it didn't say anything about what they're going to actually build on the site. No.
Maybe they'll build some nice houses.
Yeah.
I'd like to live on a site of a power station. It would be cool, wouldn't it? It'd be like,
That's the
wow.
power station, maybe.
God, get in there. Right, is that it for you?
Unfortunately, yes.
Well, you can stick around because we'll do the last bits
Oh,
together because
perfect.
there's nothing for you to do and you're useless anyway. So, right, ELPA. Ta-da! ELPA 2017 was a smash. You enjoyed it, didn't you?
Oh, yes. That's how I was confused there. I thought I said ELPA 2018. Yes, it was very good. Yeah, everyone had a good time. I had a good time. It's a party.
It was a party, and it's happening again on
The Silver Sturgeon.
which
on the
date?
6th of December.
Well done, Jonathan. Excellent.
I'm learning.
You are. No, there's George doing his bit there.
Who was that?
That was George. I don't know who he is. It's just, I'm having a drink.
I've never been on a boat party before, so
Have you
I'm
not?
quite excited.
Well, look, I mean, we went on it today just to check out, and I checked out the food today. It's going to be amazing. So look at that. You'll be on that on the 6th of December. But you can only be on it if you get yourself a ticket. So our short list is out. So can we go through how we're going to vote? Let's move on to that little bit. So you'll see that our Energy Live Personality Awards are actually up on our site. Go along, and as Robert saying, just scroll down, and you'll find there are, I think, 9 personalities you can vote for. Choose one you want, and then just click on it, and you'll see a list of names, and you just click which ones you want to vote for.
Why
You can
aren't I
vote.
on there?
No, you're not on there. No, you can vote for as many as you like, but you can only vote once. So I'd encourage you to do so. Our list of nominations are on the site now. Get involved, and obviously good luck to all the other people in the other categories. We're going to have a pretty backbone, and you can still buy tickets.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
It is going to be
Looking
great,
forward
and you might be doing some hosting.
Yeah, hopefully.
God help us. But actually,
You might be Occupido. Eh?
I might be at Occupido, absolutely. So get yourselves along to that, 6th of December, make sure you are there. Right, before we go, a couple of things. We're going to talk about Diwali, aren't we?
What's
Yes.
that?
There we go, look, here we go. So, Delhi,
Yes.
capital of India,
Yes.
covered in
Smog.
because of?
Firecrackers, and probably all this traffic. India's quite polluted anyway.
It is.
But yeah, Diwali or Diwali?
Diwali.
Diwali, I'll go with the English one.
Go on.
Yeah, so they have firecrackers that are apparently traditional.
Yes,
where
fireworks and-
Children,
yeah.
middle-aged people, old people all use these firecrackers. But obviously, if every person in an incredibly populated city uses 3 firecrackers, it results in smoke.
Yeah, well, we have
something
loads
like
of fireworks. And Chaya, who used to work here, posted something, didn't she?
Yeah, so Chai was here, unfortunately.
Hi,
she had to
Chai,
move
if
back
you're
to
watching.
India. Yeah, hopefully you're watching. But she basically made a post on Instagram that was complaining about the amount of people.
She's very good on Insta.
Yeah, she is. Social media guru.
Yeah, well, we're hoping someone will be replacing that, but then again, attention to detail lacking.
Yeah.
So yes, there is. Do you know what? We had fireworks here just on Monday, didn't we? And it's all great, but there is an element about the amount of the smell in the morning afterwards from the gunpowder and stuff.
Yeah, the fireworks and bonfires are bad enough, but I think if you've got whole cities setting off firecrackers, every one person thinks, oh, it's not enough to make a difference, but
Yes.
it adds up pretty quickly, and you can see from the smoke there.
I was going to do shout-outs, but Freddie's in the other room, so pointless, really.
Yeah.
Except for Corcoran. Corcoran, where's your tash for this month?
He likes the facial hair, doesn't he?
He does.
Yeah.
He's a bit of a facial hair, that's for sure. And that's it, apart from it is World Freedom. Now, that is brilliant, Robert. I don't believe that. Make it small. Look, there we go. You'll fight for your freedom. Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
Playing?
He's a wig. Oh, no, what's that? Yeah, Mel Gibson. Braveheart.
Yes.
Yeah,
and his real name was?
100% William Wallace.
Well done.
Come
I'm
on.
amazed by that.
Come on.
So it's Freedom Day.
Yeah.
Are you feeling free?
I will at 5 p.m. I'll get 48 hours of freedom from dragged back by my
How
shackles.
dare you? You are also free in this place.
Yeah, land
I
free,
let you.
home
You are
and
like the
brave.
free-range journos and production people. I should cage you, but you're just free
Yeah.
and you're out and about. So there you go. Freedom Day. If you're locked up, try and be free today.
Yeah.
If you're feeling a bit kind of closed in,
If there's territorial conflict over border, like
Yeah.
William Wallace, and yeah,
Freedom Day.
paint your face and go
Get
shout
free.
freedom.
Get free.
Yeah.
And
Great
do
love
free.
story in that film as well.
Is there? Not really.
Yeah, it is. They
just remember the bit-
spin the love aspect.
Do they?
Yeah.
I just love the bit at the end where he's just like pulled apart on the thingy.
Yeah. You see his gizzards
Yeah, he's
strung all over the shop.
they were not free. That's it. Got anything planned for the weekend?
Oh, it's going to be a 4-day weekend for me, so
Oh yeah, you're
it's
away.
going to be one big party.
And are you doing something lovely with your lovely lady?
Of course.
Yeah. Okay. So and Doris
Can't
is
tell
happy
you
with
about
that.
that, though.
Yeah, Doris is happy. What about Elena? What's she going to do? Hey. On that bombshell, we will see him later next week. We have got lots of going on this week coming up, including a film that'll be done by Tia. She's going to be filming a power station. God help us.
3 shots. That's all
3
you need.
shots, that's all she is. Sequences. And Rob will be doing something in Potato Land, will you? No, he'll be looking at potatoes somewhere, though. There we go. Have a great weekend. Adios.
Adios.